Hey there, Mel Abraham here, and welcome to this episode of the Affluent Entrepreneur Show. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to forget goal setting because it doesn't work without making sure that you have a goal-getting strategy in place. So stay tuned. This is the Affluent Entrepreneur Show for entrepreneurs that want to operate at a high level and achieve financial liberation. I'm your host, Mel Abraham, and I'll be sharing with you what it takes to create success beyond wealth so you can have a richer, more fulfilling lifestyle. In this show, you'll learn how business and money intersect so you can scale your business, scale your money, and scale your life while creating a deeper impact and living with complete freedom. Because that's what it really means to be an affluent entrepreneur. Are you looking to figure out this whole money game? Well, I got news for you. I want to invite you to my 7-day money plan workshop, my money plan challenge. Okay, this is totally free, and this is where we get a chance. I wanted to put something together to help everyone set a solid foundation. Here's the thing. If we're truly going to change our financial destiny, we need to have a rock solid, unshakable financial foundation. And so join me for 7 days, and we're going to walk through everything from figuring out the money mind stuff to understanding some numbers, understanding what your target is, structuring, the plan, figuring out how to deal with your debt. What do you do first? How do you ratchet your income? We're going to take one element of each thing on each day, work it through in an action guide and workbook with tools and tactics to make it happen. And so all you got to do is go to themoneyplanchallenge.com, sign up for free, and go through the training. This is my gift to you for being on this journey with me. And hopefully what we do in that process is we set you on a solid foundation. So as we have more and more conversations, we can change your financial trajectory and destiny together. And I look forward to seeing you there. Cheers. Hey there, and welcome to this episode of the Affluent Entrepreneur Show. And this one, we're going to tell you why to forget about goal setting unless you have a strategy for goal getting. Because after all, isn't it about getting to the goals that matters? It's not just about setting them. Too often we're setting goals and we just don't move. They're impotent goals. I know that's a strong term, but we'll get to that. But before we get to that, let me just read a review from the Affluent Entrepreneur Show Review Archives. Listen, if you review my show, go there, give me a review. Hopefully 5-star, but give me an honest review. If I read it on the air, you get a chance to get a one-on-one laser coaching session with me. We can talk about money, business, combination of whatever, but that time is yours to help drive you and change your financial destiny. So this one comes from Texas Get Her Done. Texas Get Her Done. I love that name also. And here's what they said. The headline says, the best show for all your financial needs. I agree with you, but I'm biased, all right? And this person says, I learn so much each week when I tune into Mel's show, from how to create wealth, how to manage your finances, and what mistakes to avoid. This show is informative as well as entertaining. And for the first time ever, I like learning more about money because he makes it so fun and easy to understand. Boom, I like that. Here's the deal. That's exactly what we're here to do. Let's make money fun. Let's have the conversations around money. Let's change the financial trajectory for all of us. It just takes a little bit of skill development. And as we learn the skills, things will shift. Things will change for you. So, Texas Get Her Done, reach out to me, either DM or send an email to success@melabraham.com. We'll get you set up for that one-on-one laser coaching session. And let's see what we can make happen in your life. All right, on to the show. Here we go. This one's going to be cool, but they all are, I think. This is about why it's so important to focus on goal getting instead of goal setting. We're getting close to the end of the year, and all the talk is about, hey, set some goals for 2022. Let's set some goals. Let's do some New Year's resolutions. And how many of us know that we set these New Year's resolutions, we set some goals, and by January 22nd, we've already stopped the resolutions, we've forgotten about the goals, and we're really not moving forward. See, too often we're so focused on the destination that we haven't thought about the progress, that we haven't really looked at how do we create a momentum towards those goals? How do we move something through those goals so we can see the progress and make it? Because it's about making real progress instead of just a bunch of resolutions. Okay, I'm gonna walk you through my the Goal-Getting Triad, a framework. I know, it's another framework from Mel. Is going to help you start to understand how do you energize the goals that you actually set? How do you get movement in the goals that you actually set? Because here's what I've seen. We talk about SMART goals. We talk about ASMART goals. We talk about all those things, and they got to be specific, measurable, and all of that stuff. But all that stuff, that's left brain stuff. That's great. That's logical. Yeah, I'll make it specific. I'll make it measurable. I'll make it time bound. I'll make, all those things. But that doesn't get us moving. We can't logic ourselves into motion. The reason that motion is part of emotion is because motion comes from emotion. So until we're able to create emotion into our goal setting, we get no energy. There's no electricity to it. And so we want to create electricity in our goal setting because that moves us towards goal getting. So let me jump to my iPad. Those of you that are not watching on YouTube or wherever you can see the video, we'll make sure that the graphics are in the show notes so you can download them, or you can get a chance to hit me up on YouTube to make that happen, all right? But we'll jump to the iPad because this is about goal getting instead of goal setting, and why does this matter? And I think that there's a couple things to really start to understand why I think this matters. And the first is this, is that when we don't have a goal-getting strategy, we don't have a process or a system, and working with entrepreneurs and working with business owners especially, okay? If we don't have a system, we get sporadic success. We get spotty success. We will have a great year and then we'll have a down year. And we can't figure out why are we inconsistent with our goal attainment? Why are we not getting the outcomes that we want on a consistent basis? And part of that is that we're just not invested. We don't have a vesting process in the goals. Hopefully that makes sense. The other thing that I notice happens when we don't do this right is that we ultimately lack drive. Like I said, the goals are, they lack energy. And so we can lazy out of those goals. We don't have the drive to move through them. Look, I set a goal to learn to speak Spanish. Yeah. And I didn't attach it to some emotional elements. I didn't energize it. I didn't electrify it. And guess what? I haven't learned to speak Spanish. I know hola. Okay. But that's about it. So we lack drive to those goals. And that's something that we need to consider. And so the other thing that happens is that if we don't do this right, is that we find ourselves stewing in pessimism. And this is where the self-talk starts to get in the way, where we start to look at things and say, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe I just can't do this. Maybe I can't, I'm not made to do this. And so we talk ourselves out. In fact, we take our goals and we start talking ourselves down the threshold of goals. So we set lofty goals and we say, and I start to bargain with myself. Maybe some of you have done that. I know I have in the past, where I started to bargain with myself, and that's not a way to attain our goals. And so we want to make sure that we aren't stewing in pessimism. Okay. And the way to do that is to make sure that we have these principles in place and a process in place that I'm going to actually take you through. Now, when we do get this right, and here's the cool thing, when we do get this right, this becomes the gateway for success. Okay? This becomes your gateway for success. And when you have that gateway for success and you've electrified your goals and energized them in a way, you put yourself in hyperdrive. You're flying like it's a flywheel, and all of a sudden things are just moving. and have gained momentum. And here's the important thing. You actually come from a place of knowing. You come from a place of knowing that the goals, the outcomes will be accomplished. There's a knowing, there's a certainty. Now, we might not be 100% certain when or how, but the outcome is real. Remember this. So I was diagnosed with the cancer in June of 2019. I had a surgery in July, had another surgery in August, went through a bunch of treatments. In December of 2019, they said, you're good, you're clean, okay? So I went and did some more preventative treatments, and April 24th, I go in for another scope, and they find 2 more tumors. So the cancer was back. So I had to go back in for a surgery. But after that cancer came back, I started to spiral again, going, yeah, this battle and everything. And I was talking to a dear friend of mine. He says, Mel, how would you approach this if you knew what the outcome was? And I go, well, I would just do what I needed to do to get to that outcome. He says, well, don't you know what the outcome is? I mean, we can say that we don't know what the outcome is, but what if you just decide that the outcome is healing? The outcome is health. The outcome is vibrancy. How do you approach it then? Come from a place of knowing. It completely changed my attitude. It completely changed everything. And for those of you that don't know, just literally 10 days ago, went through another scope. Everything's clear. Everything's clean. And I've been clean for 1.5 years now. But coming from a place of knowing. I didn't know how. I didn't know what the timing was, but I knew what the end outcome was. And so whatever your goals are, when we definitively come from a place of knowing, and we then decidedly say, I will do what it takes to get there, you'll adjust. It'll unfold on a daily basis. But we have to commit to that knowing. So now you know why it matters to have this in place. The question then becomes, well, what do you need to know? What are the principles that will drive goal getting instead of goal setting? And so here's the thing. The first principle that you need to think about is this. Micro successes are actually the key. What do I mean by that? Too often we look at this lofty goal, this lofty thing, and we say, I want to, $1 million. Yeah, but in order to get to $1 million, we got to pass through 100, and we have to pass through 1,000. Then we have to pass through 10,000, and yet we don't celebrate the 100, the 1,000, or the 10,000. Why not? Isn't it as equally important as the million? And maybe even more important, because until we pass through there, we can't get to the million. So celebrating your micro successes become the key. Celebrating, let me say it another way, celebrating progress is the key to fueling further progress. That's the thing that will give you the momentum to moving forward. Second principle, blame builds walls. Blame builds walls. Here's what I mean by this. There are some folks that I've talked to in my journeys that are sitting back and saying, I had a bad year. I'm not in the place where I want to be. I'm 50 years old. I'm 60 years old. I haven't invested the way I should have. And they spend so much time blaming themselves for the past, beating themselves for the bad decisions or the different decisions, and building walls out of their current circumstances that they can't climb out, they can't get through. And as long as we blame ourselves, now I'm not saying not to take responsibility, but responsibility, and I break that into 2 words, is your ability to respond to your current circumstances. Not to react, but to respond to them. But when we build walls out of blame, whether we're blaming someone outside ourselves or we're blaming ourselves itself, we have no capacity to move forward. And so we need to start to look at things and say, accept what is. Take the knowing of what can be, and then build the path to get you there. And when you go to the path to get you there, there's the third principle that we need to think about, and that you approach this with positive expectancy. Positive expectancy. In other words, you come at it with the anticipation of success. You come at it with the belief of success. So those are the three principles which now lead me to this goal-getting triad. So let's walk through this framework. That when you do your goal setting and you bring this triad into play, you energize and electrify your goals to move you forward, to draw you forward in the process. So let's walk through this. I'm gonna draw this out for you so you can see how this plays out. Let me go to the iPad. And those of you, like I said, those of you that are not watching on video, we'll make sure you get the graphics. All right. So here's the thing. This is the goal-getting triad. And when we talk about this, I do this in a triangle. Okay. And there's three aspects to making sure that you achieve and get to your goals. And the first is that it needs to be personal. In other words, you need to be committed to personal growth. Okay? And when we talk about personal growth, because this is the foundation of everything, this is all we do. This is how we start to look at things. I want you to desire. I invite you to desire more. I invite you to look at more, to not necessarily look at it from the perspective of not being content with what you have and have gratitude. I did a whole show on gratitude. I want you to be grateful for what you have, but to want to be more, show up more, and grow as a human, as a husband, as a wife, as a father, as a mother, as a son, as a colleague, to grow more. The tendency, the desire in human nature is for us to grow. And so we need to have that personal growth element to it. And here's the challenge. Society has a tendency to poison us with mediocrity. They educate the desire out of us. Think about this. When you are a child, or if you have children, and you ask them, what do they want to do when they grow up? They don't tell you one thing. They give you a list. Where is that magic wonder as an adult? It got educated out of us. We don't dream big. We don't look at things like, I want to be this, this, and this. Well, it's time to bring that back. When you're setting your goals, let's set the goals in place, but let's also get the goal-getting process in place. So it needs to be personal. Now, there are two elements to making sure that you start to drive the personal element of this. And the first is this. Positivity. Okay? I mean, this is that whole idea of positive expectancy. If we don't consider it, we don't look at it from that perspective, it's a challenge. If we come at it with pessimism, how achievable do you think your goals are going to be? Here's what I want you to do. For every goal you set, I want you to create 2 to 3 emotionally compelling statements. I don't want logical stuff. I want stuff that pull at your heartstrings, that pull at your soul, that draw you forward. When I do my goal setting, this is what I do. And I want you to set 2 to 3 emotionally compelling statements for each and every goal. Why is this so important? Okay. Now, watch the blame here, because it can creep. This is where you'll find it creeping up. That leads to the second element of personal. The second element of personal is that you need to have patience. Okay? You need to have patience. This is a long game. Okay? You can't control everything that goes on, but you can control some things. So the key is to sit back and say, I'm going to control what I can control, and I'm going to prepare for the things that I can't. And so understanding that there will be challenges, that there will be obstacles, there will be things that come in our way. Now, most challenges and obstacles are put there for you, not to obstruct you, but to give you the resistance to cause you to grow. No different than working out at the gym. When you go lift a weight, the resistance is what's breaking down the muscle, so when you rest, the muscle grows. Same thing. Resistance in life, the obstacles and the challenges in life cause you to grow. And so we need to have that commitment to strive in the process, but the fortitude and flexibility to move through it, the patience to make it happen. And when I say flexibility, I mean that you might look at your goals and say, how can I achieve these? And then look for multiple ways to achieve them. So you have multiple paths to get to the same goal. Okay? So this is personal. Now this then moves me up to the next leg of the triad. The next leg of the triad is perseverance. Perseverance. And when we talk about perseverance, there's two things here. Realize, like we said, perseverance is something that it's your stick-to-itiveness. And it can be nurtured. It's the discipline to stay on path. Stay true to your cause. Stay true to where you want to go, to have that in play. There are two elements to this just the same. And the first element is this: purpose. Or I say, if you've watched any of my money talks, money is a result. It's not a purpose. So if what you think is driving you is the money, I hate to break the news to you. It's a very feeble and weak driver, unless you're driven by greed. And I know that you're not, because you're in my audience, okay? So money alone isn't the right driver. The question is, what is? What is the emotional why? For me, I look at it, my wife, my son and his wife, my granddaughter, the causes, the watching you flourish and soar, to see the peaceful. We just finished and closed the doors to the Affluence Blueprint, and watching the emotions of the people that finally have the promise of financial independence, that have the ability to say, I finally see the light that I might be possible. Man, that drives me. And it pulls me emotionally through to do the things that I want to do. So what is the purpose behind it? The why behind it? And then the second is related to it, and that is the passion. The passion. This is what's going to drive you to get up in the morning, to keep going when it's difficult. You know, the whole thing that hit me when they diagnosed me with cancer, one of the biggest things that hit me was I said, wait a second. I love life way too much to let this go. I'm not done living it. And maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you've sat back and said, there's some things in your life that there's just so much passion for. Well, then embrace them. Get after it. Find that passion. Bring that and attach it to the individual goals. When we attach the purpose and the passion along with the emotionally compelling statements, now all of a sudden you're starting to charge and electrify those goals. You start to move them from goal setting to goal getting. Okay? I would look at your passions on each of those goals and rate them. I would look at it on a scale of 1 to 10. If your passion isn't an 8, 9, or 10, you might re-examine that goal. Or you re-examine the passion and the purpose. Okay? I know some of this might be hard for you, because it might be confrontational for you to look at it. But if you truly want to achieve the goals, then we need to think about goal getting instead of just goal setting. And that leads me to the third leg of this. And the third leg of this is this idea of practice. What do I mean by practice? Practice is your discipline into action. We can sit back and wish all we want. We can visualize, we can put vision boards out, we can set goals, we can do all those things. But if we don't take action, if we don't get into motion with our emotion, we'll never make progress. So there has to be a practice. There has to be a process to move you forward. There has to be a discipline of action. And there's two elements to this discipline of action that come into play, just like the others. And the first one is this: to have a plan. You know, one of the things that we do in the Affluence Blueprint is we create an affluence vision that we reduce down, this big vision and a price tag that we reduce down to 10-year, 5-year, 1-year, and 90-day elements. So we have a plan, the steps, the bite-sized chunks that we can break down into micro successes to celebrate. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to build that plan for each goal. What is the plan to achieve it? The timeline to achieve it? List it out. What are the action steps? What's the very first action step? Get it down to 90-day increments at max. What do I do? If I do all these 90-day projects, I'll achieve it. You can go down to 30 days, okay? Here's the thing. Society loves to highlight the flaws and the mistakes. I want you to highlight the progress, the growth. I want you to think about it as a relay race. So you've got the baton now, and you have this micro success. You've handed the baton off to the next stage, the next phase, and you keep on going. You put a plan in place that embeds micro successes and celebrations every step of the way to keep you going. And then the last piece of this is that there is people. Okay? Your success, my success, everyone's success, it's not a solitary pursuit. There is no such thing as self-made. I hate to bring it to you. I hate when I hear people say, they're self-made millionaire. Nope. They're not. I'm not self-made. I am made by the people around me. Now, have I done a lot of work? Oh, absolutely. It was not given to me. I earned it. I built it. But you know what? I was fortunate to have people like you in my audience, to have colleagues, to have mentors, to have customers, to have clients, to have people that believed in me. So it's not solitary. So what mentors do you need to have to move the needle for you? What mentors? List them out. And then ask yourself, who knows these mentors? How can I get introduced? How can I connect with these mentors? Now, some of them might mentor you with no cost, no nothing. Others you might have to pay for. I belong to masterminds because I want the people around me to push me, to lift me up, to do the things and kick me in the rear end when I need it. And trust me, there's plenty of times I need a kick in the rear end. Okay? Come to your mentors from a place to serve them first, and they will serve you back. Get to know them, but you need to surround yourself with people that will understand your vision, that will understand your goals, that will be willing to push you in your goal getting and not just your goal setting. Okay? When you do that, things shift. Now, there are 3 things that come out of this. This is why this Goal-Getting Triad is so powerful. And that is this, is that when we look at it this way, if I look at this in this way, what ends up happening is this, is that when you have the personal growth commitment and the practice to make it happen, when you put those things in place, ultimately what happens, this is about who you are, who you're being. This is who you are, okay? when you get the perseverance connected with the personal growth in place, this is about what you're doing, okay? This is about what you're doing, okay? And then the last piece is this. When you get the perseverance and the practice in place, this is about what you have. This is a new version, or my version, of the be, do, have model. When we are being what we need to be, you will do what you need to do to have the things you want to have. When you do that, things shift. Goal setting becomes goal getting. That's the key. So that's the goal-getting triad. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to invite you to do this. So I want you to go back through this. I want you to take the notes. I want you to go do the tasks. Set your goals. But let's electrify them and energize them by using the goal-getting triad, making sure that you're writing your emotionally compelling statements, that you have connected it to your passion and your purpose, that you have defined a plan with micro successes along the way so you know the progress and you create momentum. So you can turn around in that process and be what you need to be, to do what you need to do, and have what you deserve to have. I hope that you found this valuable. I hope that this helps you as you start to move into the new year. Start to look at your goals with a different view. And not leave the site of goal setting without putting in place your goal-getting strategy. Because goals are impotent without the energy and the electricity behind them to go get them. This is the key. Follow the triad and let's make it happen. I hope you found this of value, and I'm blessed to know you, blessed to have you on this journey. And if you have questions, if anything comes up, do me a favor, send me a DM, send me a note. Send me your questions. Let's get them answered. And you know what? Also, do me a favor. If you're listening to this, take a screenshot. Tag me in it on social media. Let me know that you're in this game. Let's help you get to goal getting together. Let's make 2022 a breakthrough year for you. All right? So in the meantime, until the next episode, until we get a chance to chat, always strive to live a life that outlives you. See you soon. Cheers. Bye. Thank you for being part of the Affluent Entrepreneur Show with me, your host, Mel Abraham. If you want to achieve financial liberation to create an affluent lifestyle, join the Affluent Entrepreneur Facebook group at melabraham.com/group. And I'll see you there. Cheers. Bye.